One person is hurt after a shooting Saturday night in Green Bay, just west of Broadway. Sam Goodman has the latest on the investigation and what one witness saw. Sam.
Thanks, Cammie. Video provided to us, you can see right here by a witness in the neighborhood, shows the victim who had a gunshot wound in the back receiving care from first responders. According to the witness, the man was able to get himself to the ambulance under his own power. Green Bay police say the shooting happened just after 10 p.m. Saturday night while many were watching the 4th of July fireworks. One witness tells us the gunshots were masked by the fireworks, but she saw the victim running towards Ashland from Maple Avenue, yelling that he had been shot. He later collapsed in the grass on the corner of Ashland and Bond. First responders say they helped the victim, who was treated for non-life-threatening injuries at a local hospital. Police believe the two involved in the event knew each other.
The investigation is ongoing, but this does not appear to be a random act of violence, and we don't think that there's any ongoing danger to the community at this point.
Police say they do not yet have someone in custody, and they do not believe the event is related to any of the 4th of July festivities. Back to you, Cammie.